All right. What is going on, everybody? Now, I just want to talk real quick. If you are new to this channel and this is one of the first videos you are seeing, I have done breakdown videos of cards like this my whole channel career. Before MMA Guru was starting to use the website, actually pull up the stats and, whole look of the fighters and stuff like that, their pictures. He was just doing a full-on face cam, showing their pictures on the side, or he was doing some other thing or something like that. I have done this before, okay? This is my format. I started doing this, okay? So I'm not going to stop. This is how I'm going to continue to go through my pick videos. If people want to say I'm copying, whatever, look back at some of my first card picks, in my YouTube channel. This is how I have used the website. Okay, so I'm going to continue to do my picks on how I do my picks and how I do my video and stuff like that. So yeah, just thought I'd put that out there. Not that anyone really comments on my videos anyways to, say I'm copying, but just thought I'd put that out there in case anyone says, "Hey, you're doing MMA Guru's exact format." This is what I did first, okay? I used the website, all right? I'm not gonna put my camera in the middle of the screen because that's a little bit too much copying, but I've done this, okay? This is what I've done, all right? And I'm not stopping because someone else bigger than me decided they would also be a good idea. All right. So, anyways, moving on with the card picks. My first pick of this card is Nora Cornell. Now the reason why I have her by round one or round two KOs because look at this, 6 wins by knockout out of 8 wins, and she's got 4 first round finishes. So this could be the night that she ends up adding another one to that KO number. I think it's obvious she looks for the finish and tries to strike and stuff like that. Haley Kowan, I just haven't seen anything again impressive really. They don't have much of her record and stuff like that, but 2 wins by knockouts, 2 wins by submissions, 1 first round finishes. You can just tell the finishing potential is just more so there for Nora Cornell. So I'm gonna go with her by round one or round two KO. Moving up to Trayshawn Gore and Marco Tulio. I got Marco Tulio by round one KO. Trayshawn Gore sucks. I mean, we look right here: 2 wins by knockouts, 3 wins by submissions, 3 first round finishes, 6-2. Um, he lost to Brendage. That's not very good. That's not very good. Um, so that's why I have Marco Tulio. I mean, he's 13-1, 9 fight win streak, 9 wins by knockouts. Wouldn't be surprising if he added another one onto that. So just going with the kind of direction of the momentum for Marco Tulio. He's gonna get another first round finish, and it's gonna be another round one KO. If not, then it's kind of anyone's ball game at that point, as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, moving up. Sumur Darigi versus Mitch Raposo. Um, Now I know Mitch Raposo is kind of a prospect here. He's 9-2 in the flyweight division, but I got Sumur Darigi, the Tibetan Eagle. I'm just gonna call him the Tibetan Eagle. I got the Tibetan Eagle. He's got 11 first round finishes, 13 wins by knockouts. I know he just lost to Johnson, but he's been not having the best of luck. Dang. But I think this is the night he flips it around. Okay, I know he's on a little bit of a skid streak here, but I think this is the night the Tibet Eagle, puts it on Mitch Raposo and catches him in the first round. Either first round or second round. I have picked down here, and I pick all of these beforehand, by the way. And they stay permanent. Even if I look at stats that might make me think otherwise, no, I'm going with the gut feeling, okay? So I got Sumer Derigi by round one or round two KO. Now, obviously, in my picks, you're going to see that I don't have much time spent on these guys that don't really have names. Unfortunately, that's just how it is in the UFC and in life. You just don't get as much time spent on you if you're not as well known. Unfortunately, but it would be great for these guys to get, these good fights in a nice little arena, so that way I can remember a Sumer Daraji or a Mitch Raposo later on in the year, and maybe have an easier time making my picks. But anyways, moving on. Boot Gang, Cedric Dumas versus Michael Oleksiejczuk. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, there we go. Cedric Dumas, now he's been kind of a letdown, if I'm going to be completely honest. Kind of a bit of an idiot at some points. But Michael Oleksiejczuk, he kind of just sucks, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like, he is on a 3-fight losing streak, and he's just, again, back and forth with the wins and the losses and stuff like that. Kind of unreliable, if I'm to be completely honest. I know he's got 14 wins by knockouts, 11 first-round finishes, whatever. Have you seen Cedric Dumas, bro? Look at him. Cedric Dumas the Reaper. 4 wins by knockouts. 2 wins by submissions, 4 first-round finishes. 10-2. He's got some great wins, of course, He beat Cody Brundage. Might have lost to Fremo, but hey, for the most part, he's been winning. Okay? He's been winning. And for that, I gotta go Cedric Dumas. For some reason, I feel like he might catch him in round 1 or round 2. Another round 1 or round 2 KO or TKO. Michael Oleksiejczuk could catch him. But I'm going with, I just got a good gut feeling for Cedric Dumas. I feel like he might come in a little bit more prepared for a numbered card and get the job done. So, yeah, hopefully we get that round 1 or round 2 KO. If not, it's probably going to go to him by decision. He's got longer reach, longer leg reach, but we'll see. We'll see. Sometimes his fight IQ can be really terrible, which is one thing that I'm kind of worried about picking him for, but sometimes that weird strength just finds its way in and knocks people out. So for that, I'm going with Cedric Dumas. Moving up, getting done with the early prelims. Wow, it's pretty good early prelims. Moving up to the regular prelims, the first opener of the prelim card, we got Darren Elkins versus Julian Erosa. Now, I'm going with Darren Elkins. I mean, he's the damage after all, okay? But I'm going to be picking him by decision. I feel like at both of these guys' records, that's kind of what they're used to going to. We got a lot of decisions on here. He got knocked the hell out by Swanson in 2021, but I can't believe I missed his fight against Nate Landwehr. Wow, that was 2020. But anyways, he just beat Pineda, which I know isn't the greatest win, but he's on a little bit of a 2-fight winning streak right now, and I think he's gonna get it by decision. Julian Erosa is, like, in my opinion, kind of the worst version of him, honestly. And he's been on a little bit of a up and down kind of part of his career too. Darren Elkins just has, I think, a little bit more momentum for him as far as wins go. Pretty similar record. Pretty similar stats for the most part, except for reach and leg reach. But I'm going with Darren Elkins. He's proven to keep his chin pretty intact, and I think he gets it done by doing the most damage against Julian Erosa, and we'll probably get it done by decision. Might be a nice little war of them going back and forth. But yeah, anyways, moving up. Big matchup here, big matchup. This is actually a really important matchup for the lightweight division. Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. A little bit of a passing of the torch kind of moment here for Jim Miller and Chase Hooper. I know their fighting styles aren't similar, like Adesanya and Anderson Silva, but this is definitely the new guard coming up to challenge the old guard. And Chase Hooper, man, he's been on a bit of a tear. I think he's starting to really come into his own body and his own, all the things for skill wise. Just really starting to click for him. Very dangerous grappling, starting to get really dangerous hands too as well. Like, he's starting to get really smart boxing. He was really piecing up Clay Guida. Borachev, I think I remember him beating up. I don't remember him beating Levitt. Like he submitted him, which is really good. Um, for the most part, when he was fighting these fights, younger and stuff like that, a couple years ago, he was just kind of frame wise a little bit, too beat upable, I guess. But now his frame is like starting to get solid and really, he's really grown into it and really comfortable with it. So, yeah, I'm going with Chase Hooper. Jim Miller, he's had a great career. A lot of people would argue he's Hall of Fame worthy to go into the UFC Hall of Fame, but yeah, this is his unfortunate. This could be. I would like for this to be Jim Miller's last fight. I think after he loses to Chase Hooper, I mean, I don't want to see. I don't know who they would even match him up with, like some unranked guys at lightweight. I guess if he's still feeling good, I mean, make that money, man. But I don't want to see him continue to fight after losing to Chase Hooper. Um, I don't think it'd be a good idea. But yeah, Chase Hooper, I'm gonna have him getting it done in round one. He's gonna either get a KO or he's gonna get a sub. Um, yeah, I don't see any way Jim Miller poses kind of any threat to Chase Hooper. Maybe he catches him with a wild punch, but Chase Hooper's been playing it really smart. Really good fight IQ, and yeah, if he's not messing you up on the feet, he's gonna take you down, and he will submit you. Like he's one of those guys where it's like, all right, game plan time, activate, take you down, start setting up submissions, stuff like that. Um, and I just don't think Jim Miller will be able to deal with it in round one. So yeah, that's why I got him by round one, sub or KO, whatever. Pick your poison. Because it could be a TKO where he's punching him from the back, or it could be one where he catches him and he's out stiff. It could be one where, he knocks him down and then he jumps on his back and chokes him. There's a lot of ways for Chase Hooper to end it. But anyways, moving on. Yan Xiaonan versus Verena Jandiroba. I got Yan Xiaonan. I know Verena Jandiroba she's been on a little bit of a tear. For the most part, I think. Let me look here. Yeah, I don't think she's. I think she's been on a actual like crazy fight win streak. I don't know why it doesn't show it. She's definitely someone who's gonna try to finish you, not by knockout, but by submission. I just think Yan Xiaonan has it more together on the feet and is gonna be able to keep the distance against Verena Jandiroba. That's why I have Yan Xiaonan by decision. It's going to be a lot of leg kicks, a lot of teeps, a lot of jabs and whatnot to keep Verena Jandiroba from closing distance and trying to get her grappling game implemented. I think just Yan Xiaonan is going to have the championship experience. Not that she was champion, but she did fight Zhang Weili for the championship, and she did pretty good despite getting choked out that one round. But yeah, Yan Xiaonan, really great striker, pretty underrated striker, honestly. And I think she's gonna be able to stuff all the takedowns of Verena Jandiroba. I don't see her getting her back taken really. And again, just the striking is gonna be much better for her. I know she's kind of giving up an inch of reach disadvantage, but Verena Jandiroba has just never been like the boxing striking type. I haven't seen any like crazy combos or like good solid jab or anything like that for Verena Jandiroba. So for that reason, I'm going with Yan Xiaonan by decision. Could be possible that she gets around 3 KO or TKO though, if she catches her with some good strikes. So moving on up, we got Dan Ige and Sean Woodson. I forget what I wanted to say he's built like, but there's a lot of things Sean Woodson is built like, but this dude used to be like 200 plus pounds. He now weighs like he's now 145, and he's got a crazy build for the division. Look at that reach. 78-inch reach advantage over Dan Ige. 44-inch leg reach advantage over Dan Ige's 38-inch reach. He's going to be towering over Dan Ige. Now, as much as I like Dan Ige, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to reach Sean Woodson and touch his chin. Sean Woodson is really great on the outside, really great footwork. And I think he's going to deliver, really devastating body shots to Dan Ige and then follow upstairs with a shot that I don't know if it'll knock out Dan Ige because I don't think I've really seen him knocked out. But we could see a TKO kind of style finish where he knocks him down and follows up and just keeps pounding on him until the ref pulls him off. But yeah, Sean Woodson, he's got some crazy hooks. And I think in a hook exchange with Dan Ige and Sean Woodson wins that. He's on a streak right now as well. I forget what his. I forgot who he lost to. We had a draw with Saldana. Wasn't there someone? Oh yeah, he lost to Rosa in 2020. But since then, dude's been on a tear. He's been on a tear, just absolutely destroying people with his striking. And yeah, he's got the perfect build. Like as weird as it is, it's honestly one of the best builds to have in MMA. Being really long and lengthy arms like that to really reach block shots and stuff like that. Kind of being a little bit of a skinny, wiry guy is honestly really good for MMA because you're able to, sneak your arms in there a little bit more, get longer reach. There's a lot of advantages to it. And for that reason, I got to go with Sean Woodson to get it done. I think he gets it done with either a round 2 or round 3 KO or TKO. I think Dan Ige will tough it out in the first round after taking some big shots. We'll see. Maybe he doesn't tough it out. But round 2 and round 3, Sean Woodson's really going to put it on him and really target that body, I feel like. And I don't think Dan Ige will be able to handle round 2 and round 3. If he does, it's going to be a Sean Woodson majority decision. Probably 30-27 type of fight for Sean Woodson. But yeah, 6'2" at featherweight is just absolutely insane. Absolutely criminal, honestly. They should make him go up to lightweight. But anyways, Sean Woodson again by decision or round 3 or round 2, KO or TKO. But anyways, moving up out of the prelims onto our first fight in the main card. Now, this is a first fight of the main card worthy fight. All right, Nikita Krylov, Dominic Reyes. All right, I'm going with Dominic Reyes. All right, he's getting his groove back. Okay, the King's got his groove back, and I got him by round 2, round 3, TKO. Nikita Krylov, man, he's just he's kind of been a little bit mid, if I'm going to be honest. He lost to some people lost to Paul Gregg. I can't believe he fought Ankalaev too. He beat Walker, which is understandable by decision. Interesting. He's had a little bit of a iffy career. His last win was against Spann in 2023, which I don't like. I don't like this much inactivity. That's actually pretty scary, honestly. Because Spain is at heavyweight now, so we're talking totally, totally different time that he was living in during that, when Spain was actually trying at light heavyweight. But yeah, I gotta go with Dominic Reyes. Feel like he's really locking in on himself. He's coming up finally from that brutal loss streak that he was going on. And yeah, I think he gets it done in round 2 or round 3. I think we see a return to form Dominic Reyes. Maybe in round 1 it'll be a little bit feeling out. Maybe he gets hit with some good shots and, a little bit of a cut maybe on Dominic Reyes. But I think on round 2 or round 3 he's going to end up getting that win either by KO or TKO. I think it's his time, man. I think it's his time to rise back up the light heavyweight rankings and reclaim what's his, you know what I mean? But Nikita Krylov, I just haven't seen anything really too impressive from him. And his last one was against Spann. Dominic Reyes, I know Smith and Jacoby isn't the best, but I know Spann knocked out Reyes in 2022, but better wins as far as recently go for Dominic Reyes. I know Anthony Smith isn't the best. He's still number 15 at least. Spann wasn't even ranked at light heavyweight, so yeah. Going with Dominic Reyes, especially since he's been fighting recently and Nikita Krylov's been out this whole time. So yeah, we'll see. But again, Dominic Reyes round 2 or round 3. Moving up, we got Bryce Mitchell, John Silva. Now, I predicted this fight would happen after John Silva won his last fight, and there was a huge call out for him to fight Bryce Mitchell and stuff like that. I predicted it. Go to my TikTok and scroll down through those videos. I predicted John Silva and Bryce Mitchell would happen, and here we are finally. Really, really big matchup at featherweight. John Silva has a chance to enter the rankings here with this fight. If he beats Bryce Mitchell, I'm sure he'll enter at 13. Bryce Mitchell will take the 14th or 15th spot. But I got to go with Bryce Mitchell on this one. You know, contrary to a lot of people who think John Silva might just walk through Bryce Mitchell, Bryce Mitchell gave Ilia Topuria a hard time, man. People forget. Okay, about Bryce Mitchell giving Ilia Topuria a hard time. Now, did he get submitted by Ilia Topuria? Sure. But during the most of it, he was doing pretty okay. I know he was getting pieced up a little bit, but he was doing pretty okay against the champion of the division. He's coming off his win against Kron Gracie, and he just brutally elbowed him in the face after slamming him on his head. Really great win. John Silva, he's been as far as competition wise, I don't want to say, it's been lacking and stuff. But Dober sucks. We know that now. Jourdain is also kind of mid. Wilson is also kind of mid too as well. I know Bryce Mitchell got caught by Josh Emmett, but that was a freak accident, okay? Josh Emmett kept catching him like that was just absolute freak accident. And any other universe, Bryce Mitchell ducks down, misses the punch, takes his back, and submits him, okay? Just being completely honest. When we ran that fight back against Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell takes his back, submits him. He ducks under the punch, grabs his back, and, pulls him to the ground and submits. That's what happens if they run back that Josh Emmett fight. But anyways, he's going to have the height, he's going to have the reach, he's going to have the leg reach. He's not going to be dumb and just try to go blow for blow with John Silva. He's also not going to do the shit where John Silva's like reaching out his hand and shaking out his hand and be like, oh, I hit you with a good strike. You acknowledge that, right? And then Bryce Mitchell isn't going to be the guy to be like, oh, yeah, you hit me good. Oh, yeah. No, he's going to be like, fuck you. I'm going to kill you. And he's going to keep coming forward, and he's either swing or he's going to shoot. I think he gets to John Silva's hips and takes him down, honestly. And I think he's going to kind of smother him a bit. I think if he doesn't get it done, I think round one will definitely be Bryce Mitchell finally getting the takedown on John Silva. There'll definitely be an opening of John Silva, get some oohs and ahs from the crowd with his strikes and, trying to be flamboyant and really cocky and stuff like that. I think Bryce Mitchell will probably get him down at the end of the round. And then round two takes him down again. John Silva tries to get up. Bryce Mitchell follows through, scrambles with him, gets to his back or gets to another position where he's able to submit him. And, and that's a wrap for John Silva, honestly. Bryce Mitchell is really underrated. He really is. And, I know a lot of people are hating on Bryce Mitchell because of the shit he said. And, whatever, honestly. I don't care about the stuff he said. I care more about his fighting skill and potential and whatnot. And I think it's quite high. I think he's really dangerous. I think he gives a lot of people in the featherweight division problems. I think, honestly, too, like, if he ends up winning this, he's going to fight the loser of Diego Lopes and Alexander Volkanovski. Or another high featherweight matchup. Maybe Arnold Adams or something like that. Is that his name? Arnold Adams? Arnold? I feel like it's something else. But whatever. Moving up, though, from the Bryce Mitchell round 2 or round 3 submission pick. And if he doesn't get the round 2 or round 3 sub, he's going to get the decision. He's going to get a dominant, or maybe not dominant, but he's going to get, he's going to have a lot of time on top. That's going to end up swinging the fight in his direction. Even if he takes some damage from Gene Silva, I think he'll hold him down for longer, which will win him the fight. But anyways, moving up. Really, really big fight also in featherweight division. Honestly, Bryce Mitchell or John Silva, whoever ends up winning that fight, could fight the loser of Yair Rodriguez, Patricio Pitbull. That's another huge fight in the featherweight division that's not really talked about. And this could be, a title contender kind of fight, if I'm going to be completely honest. If Patricio Pitbull somehow gets this done against Yair, this could be, one of those title contention kind of fights where they're like, all right, Yair, you beat Patricio in this fashion. You're up next for Volker Diego Lopez. And Yair versus Diego Lopez, that would be a good, exciting matchup for the fans and for the featherweight division. But Patricio Pitbull, he's no joke, man. But I still got to go with Yair Rodriguez. I think he gets it done in round one, honestly. Looking at just looking at the history of the opponents and stuff like that, Patricio Pitbull has always fought B-League opponents, unfortunately. Except for Michael Chandler, who's now come up to the A-Leagues, but Michael Chandler hasn't been doing crazy good. If Michael Chandler was champion right now, I'd be picking Patricio Pitbull. Or if Michael Chandler was just honestly anywhere ranked in the top 3 or top 5. But Michael Chandler's 10 right now, and, I know Patricio Pitbull knocked him out, but I can't think of really anything else notable. Honestly, can anyone else tell me a huge Patricio Pitbull win? I know his win against AJ McKee was pretty good in their rematch. I know he's had a couple of other good B-League win names and stuff like that, but man, he spent too much time in the B-Leagues. He's 37 coming into the UFC. Not a good idea. Michael Chandler did it too late too. Coming into the UFC, I think at 34, 35 or something like that. I think he was 33 or something like that. You need to be coming into the UFC if you're a B-League guy at least by 27 or 28. If you're going to establish yourself outside of the UFC, then you need to be getting into the UFC at that, 30, 29, 28 year mark. Patricio Pitbull wasted his career in Bellator and PFL and stuff like that. Absolutely wasted it. I'm sorry. Okay? His career matters now because he's coming into the UFC. If he beats Yair Rodriguez, this will make his career a lot more legitimate and might actually be pretty scary for the rest of the featherweights. But I think Yair is just too dynamic for him. I think he's going to hit him with some jumping kicks, some spinning kicks, and one of those is just going to land on Patricio. I can kind of see Yair, setting something up with a spinning heel kick on Patricio that's going to catch him while he's trying to block it, and it's going to hit him just outside of the hand, on the back of his head, on the side back of his head or whatever, and it's going to catch him and it's going to hit him to the ground. Unless Patricio immediately blast doubles Yair Rodriguez, which I just don't think he'll do. And I think Yair Rodriguez, I think he's learned from a couple of his losses. I think he's going to be throwing a lot more devastating strikes on takedown advances. I think he's going to be throwing knees up the middle. But he's just going to be so dynamic and explosive against Patricio Pitbull, which I don't think Patricio Pitbull has dealt with someone as dynamic as Yair Rodriguez. And Yair can really knock you out from anywhere, man. We've seen him in some weird positions get the finishes. And even if he gets taken down, he does have some dangerous submission skills. We saw against Josh Emmett, he triangled to get the featherweight interim championship. He's all right off his back. He does have a little bit of a problem with staying on his back a little bit too long, which Patricio Pitbull could take to his advantage, but he's coming in again, 37 years old, coming off of, I think he's 1-2 in his last 3 fights, nothing really particularly great. So again, I'm not really happy with Patricio Pitbull and his career. I mean, he's definitely a great fighter, not putting that past him, but I really hate seeing some of these Bellator guys that have somewhat names, like AJ McKee again. That's one of those guys. Paul Hughes, that's one of those guys again that just get out of the PFL. Get out of there now, okay? Stop wasting your time. I know you might be getting paid good there, but at the end of the day, it's not gonna correlate with how much better the UFC eyes are. You're gonna be getting way more sponsorships. You're gonna be getting way more fans. At the end of the day, you might get paid less in the beginning, but hey, if you stick through it and you prove as good of a fighter as you think you are, you're gonna get paid a lot more money in the UFC. Just gonna be completely honest, okay? I know the PFL might be they're a sinking ship, okay? They might be paying you out a lot of money, but that money's not gonna last forever from them. And eventually, you know, what's gonna matter more? Your history or the money you made during that time? And I personally think, the history you make is going to be more important than the money you make at that time, because history lasts forever, money doesn't. But anyways, moving on. That's kind of a weird statement for me. Kind of stupid, but whatever. Anyways, moving on. Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett, our co-main event. Now, this one is a tough one, but I got Paddy Pimblett, and I got Paddy Pimblett by round 2 or round 3 submission. This is gonna sound. I did watch the MMA Guru's picks for the co-main and main event, and my picks are pretty similar. Although I'm gonna say round 2 or round 3 submission. I don't think Paddy Pimblett takes out Michael Chandler with a KO or TKO. I think Michael Chandler's head is a little bit too dense, and I haven't seen him like knocked out cold. He always seems to be kind of in it, kind of like Drew Dober is a little bit. Even when he's like out of it, he seems still in it, at least body wise. He's still fighting and stuff like that. So I don't think, unless the ref obviously always can step in and save the fighter, but I feel like with Michael Chandler, he's just not going to get TKO'd or KO'd. Might get dropped a couple times, but yeah, I don't see Paddy Pimblett KOing him or TKOing him. Paddy doesn't really like, other than his like first fight, I think with that Luigi guy or whatever, he ended up TKOing him in a really wild exchange, but yeah, I think Paddy Pimblett gets it done by submission. I know people are going to bring up the Oliveira fight and say, well, Oliveira couldn't submit him and stuff like that. I know, I get it. But Paddy's a little bit more aggressive, He's a little bit more aggressive with trying to get that submission. And I think Michael Chandler might make the mistake of either overthrowing, shooting, and it being a terrible shot. And I think Paddy Pimblett just capitalizes off the mistakes of Michael Chandler. And Michael Chandler makes a lot of mistakes. I mean, other than the first, 2 or 3 minutes where Michael Chandler looks like a world beater, after that, man, he's just not good. He makes terrible fight IQ decisions. Michael Chandler, of course, can always catch Paddy Pimblett. That's a possibility in MMA, any MMA fight, though. Because people keep bringing that up. Oh, Michael Chandler, he's going to catch Paddy Pimblett. Well, that can happen with anybody. And I know that's a possibility in this fight, especially because Michael Chandler is really explosive, but I think Paddy Pimblett's going to be a little bit too smart. I think he knows what's coming, man. I think he knows he's going to have a higher guard. I think he's going to block a lot of these looping hook power shots by Michael Chandler. And even if he doesn't, I think he'll be able to take him. And even if he gets dropped, he's going to welcome Michael Chandler into his guard and probably find a way to sweep him. I think Michael Chandler is very jiu-jitsu sweepable by Paddy Pimblett. I can see him, being on his back and sweeping Michael Chandler and, taking position over him and stuff like that. Now, Michael Chandler is a really good wrestler, but it's a little bit different with some jiu-jitsu sweeps that you can hit off your back against wrestlers. I know this because I've done a little bit of jiu-jitsu and I've wrestled most of my life. So, getting sweeped in a weird angle in jiu-jitsu is really off-putting for me as a wrestler for the first couple times that it happens to me. And I think Paddy Pimblett hits him with some sweeps. I think he takes his back, or he just gets into a good position where he's able to submit Michael Chandler. I know Michael Chandler's only other submission has been Dustin Poirier, but I think Paddy Pimblett, can do the same thing to Michael Chandler, and I think he'll take less damage too. I really will. Maybe he gets, a little bit of face damage for the first time in his UFC career, but man, Paddy Pimblett's mainly walked out of his fights pretty unscathed, other than the Jared Gordon fight where he broke his foot. He walks out of his fights, man, not really any markups or anything on his face. So, yeah, I just don't see how Michael Chandler, I can see him maybe getting a surprise KO out of nowhere. Would really suck for that to happen because Michael Chandler, man, he's not getting the championship. And he's just, I mean, he makes fun fights in the UFC, but I mean, fun fights are fun fights. Anyone can have a fun fight in the UFC as well, too. You know, your fucking women's first bout of the Apex card with your two women fight. You can have a crazy fight of the year kind of fight, you know. Um, but you know, I really got to go with Paddy Pimblett on this. I think if he doesn't get, again, this is kind of be a situation where with Bryce Mitchell and John Silva, where if he doesn't get the subs, he's gonna be on Michael Chandler like glue, and he's gonna be sticking on him, controlling him, and that's probably gonna end up winning him the fight if he doesn't get the sub by either round 2 or round 3. So yeah, again, going with Paddy Pimblett here. Michael Chandler's days are past him. He had his chance. He failed. And I don't think he's going to be coming back. If he beats Paddy, I mean, who do you even match? I guess he's got matchups, but nothing I would be too terribly like, woo, I really want to see this. Now, obviously, if Michael Chandler brutally knocks out Paddy Pimblett, people are going to be excited, but I don't know. I'm not feeling a Michael Chandler victory. I'm just really not. So, again, Paddy Pimblett, round 2, round 3 submission. Moving up to our main card, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. Hate to say it, hate to do it. A lot of people are picking this. It seems like it's the right pick. I don't know what the fuck these odds are. Minus 148 and plus 124 is crazy. If Diego Lopes is an underdog by the time the odds are up for the fight and stuff like that, like if we're getting down to day before the fight odds, and these are the odds, you pick Diego Lopes. You bet your house on Diego Lopes. I'm being completely honest here. As much as I love Alex Volkanovski, he's 37, 2-fight losing streak, or 3-fight, yeah, no, 2-fight losing streak, Makhachev and Topuria. You know, those are the best guys in the world right now, but Alex Volkanovski is just... I think this is it, guys. I really think this is it. I don't think he has a way of victory against Diego Lopes. I mean, even if he takes him down, Diego Lopes just is going to scramble out of there and be a little bit more wiry, and I think round 1 he catches Volk. I think a lot of people have round 1 KO going to Diego Lopes, and for all the right reasons, man. Volkanovski's been getting caught. He's been getting chinned, and you know there tends to be a trend with older fighters. Once they start getting chinned, they can't stop it from happening again. And I just see Diego Lopes getting that collar tie hook, like he does against so many people. Again, he gets that really aggressive, like I can see him doing that to Volkanovski and it being over. Like maybe not in the first couple exchanges, but like in the third or fourth exchange, Diego Lopes is just be like, all right, come here, boom, 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 and I think that's all she. I think that'll be all she wrote for Alex Volkanovski. Really hate to see it because I love Alexander Volkanovski. Even when he was beating Max Holloway up and everyone was pissed about that, I liked that arrogant, cocky Volkanovski. I thought that was great. I thought it was great to have a champ that was like, I think he was on some sort of crazy like 19-fight win streak or something like that. Wasn't he on some crazy win streaks beforehand, like 19-fight win streak? Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. Why did they get hit? I don't know why they chose this picture of him with him all out of shape and stuff like that. Really weird. But yeah, maybe Volkanovski makes it to the second round, but even so, I still have Diego Lopes getting it done in the second round. The only way Alex Volkanovski wins this fight is if he's able to survive those first 1 to 2 rounds. If he does, it'll definitely be a lot more competitive. I think Volkanovski then has a method of, maybe tit for tatting, playing on the outside. But I don't think he should ever try to go exchange for exchange with Diego Lopes. He really shouldn't. His best bet is to try to get a hold of Diego Lopes and pull him to the ground as fast as he can so he can start working ground and pound, working submissions, all the stuff like that. But I think Diego Lopes is just gonna be too explosive in the first 2 rounds, and that's Volkanovski's kind of, you know, he takes a minute to work into the fight. If you watched an Alex Volkanovski fight, he does a lot of reads at the beginning of the fight, and kind of like Piotr Jan, where he starts waking up in the later of the rounds and starts really laying on him. That could happen, you know. We haven't seen Volkanovski in a while. He's taken some time off, so maybe he has regained a little bit of that, you know, endurance and that durability. But yeah, I can't stop seeing Diego Lopes. I'm pretty sure MMA Guru said this as well, and I hate to copy the phrase, but like, you know, he just gets that collar tie and he just starts uppercutting him, and I think it might be over from there. But yeah. Anyways, that is UFC 314. Again, thank you for watching. And again, I'm not changing my format on this video. I did this first, so I'm sticking with it. If anyone has any problems with it, they can comment down below and let me know. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you later.